majority.
Listen, but sports, especially football, I mean, that runs deep in our culture. You're someone from the SEC, from down south, LSU. I mean, we grow people, right, and we groom people to become college and NFL football players. There, it is a whole culture, and so it is. I mean, this runs deep in the culture, and it is reflective, I think, in many ways of what's happening in our culture and in our politics. I mean, listen, I just want to play this. We don't have to play sound up, but I just want to put this up and ask Bob a question here. This is the NFL players. This video that they put out. Just run the video, but they put out this video, and you saw what happened in the league, over the past, 3 years or so on, Colin Kaepernick and so on. Mm-hmm. What does this say about the culture and the time that we're in? Players are starting to feel empowered and some autonomy, and then you have this. Does this show that the players are right to be doing what they were doing or are doing now?
Well, they're right to be concerned. We can certainly talk about how typical this is and how far-reaching it is, but it exists, and it needs to be confronted and called out and eliminated where it exists. We're not talking about normal political differences. There are reasonable political differences across the spectrum. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to bigotry or feelings toward people that just have no compassion and have no enlightenment connected to them, I would think that all reasonable people can say, yeah, we don't want this to be part of the culture. We don't want this to be part of our discussions and part of what surrounds the games that we follow and the teams that we care about. And as I said earlier, it's one thing to say, hey, a guy made a mistake, a slip of the tongue, or he reformed his attitudes, or he raised his consciousness, and we're not going to hold him to account for one thing that happened 10 years ago. But if there's a pattern of behavior, that's a different thing. Yeah. And of course, as a fan, the majority of players on SEC teams and the overwhelming majority of players in the NFL are African American.
Right.
So even if you say, starting today, I've learned my lesson, and going forward I'll never do this, how do you win the trust of the people in that locker room? Yeah. You're their leader. How do you win their trust? Yeah. And it isn't just the black players. The majority of white players regard the black players, and the black players regard the white players as their brothers in arms, their teammates. You see the way these people feel about each other, players in every sport. Whatever their background and cultural differences may be, when they come together as a team, they begin to see each other as teammates and also as individuals, not as representatives of a group, but as individuals. And they create bonds of affection and connection and respect. You can't have someone at the top of that organization that doesn't reflect those values.
Yeah, I wonder, the fallout from this remains to be seen, and we're going to watch it play out live. Thank you, the legendary Bob Costas, joining us now. Here's our breaking news. The head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, Jon Gruden, resigning tonight in a statement saying, "I've resigned as head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. I love the Raiders and do not want to be a distraction. Thank you to all the players, coaches, staff, and fans of Raider Nation. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt anyone. Jon Gruden." The lasting ramifications of this, what happens next as it comes to NFL and professional sports in general. Also tonight on this program, who is afraid of the former president? Apparently most elected Republicans, and it's putting our democracy in peril. That is next.